What if I told you that Dodge may have just hidden the 3 biggest Easter eggs in Mopar history, and it did it in plain sight, hiding the inside of a retro style configurator for the Charger Daytona? While everyone's out here talking about the obvious clues about the Barracuda, I haven't seen anyone talk about the clock on the wall or the car hidden right there in the corner. Now, Dodge recently launched its official Charger Daytona portal, an interactive late 90s style configurator with retro graphics, terrible resolution, neon lighting, a VHS loading screen for some odd reason, and more Easter eggs than the ones your kids just found in your backyard. But I'm over 41,000 friends, and the 65% of you guys will keep watching me but not yet hit that subscribe button. Right off the bat, there is a covered car in the corner of this shop sitting right next to this new Charger. Now, at first glance, it's pretty easy just to kind of ignore some details about it, but if you look closer, the car's profile, it is very identical to the current Charger, but it is not the same exact car. It has a new hood scoop design that looks nearly identical to the Demon 170, is wide, is centered, and is ready to breathe. Something that electric vehicles don't normally need, just like Foxconn chambered exhaust systems, so I'm just saying. But a newly stylized Barracuda logo is also on the wall to its left. Now, this is not a Challenger badge, it is a Cuda, basically redesigned, modernized, but unmistakably a fish logo that looks kind of odd, but it is definitely a fish. And the placement of that logo right next to this mysterious car, that is not an accident in my eyes. And word around the campfire is that Dodge has 2 pending trademarks right now for the Cuda. One is for the badges and one is for motor vehicles. So while Dodge doesn't have a trademark that I can see for the Barracuda, they do have a trademark pending for the actual Cuda itself, and that was a performance trim of the Barracuda. And this could be the new top trim replacing Hellcats. So I'm just saying, this is what it looks like to me. Now, if you look at the left where that Cuda logo is, on the shop wall above that Charger is an analog clock. Now, if you guess what time it is, it says 10:12 p.m. You can't exactly tell because the graphics in this particular configurator is so terrible. I think Dodge basically intentionally did this so you couldn't necessarily tell exactly what's going on. But it does look to me that it says 10:12. If you know Dodge, you know they love hiding the horsepower ratings in their radio displays and clocks. They did the Hellcat that had the 70s on 7s in their radio. The Ram Rebels cluster had the 7:07 p.m. Then they snuck in 2023 on the Molish with some actual press materials to journalists a few years ago. So there's obvious signs with numbers that Dodge loves to hide. I know someone's gonna cry to me in the comments that the TRX does not have 707 horsepower, it's 702 horsepower, but they don't seem to realize the only reason why the TRX has 702 horsepower is because of the intake, and that's the only reason why it's robbed from 707 horsepower down to 702. But regardless of that nonsense, why would Dodge randomly put 10:12 on the clock unless it means 1012 horsepower? I mean, they could have easily put 245 on the clock, but I think this means something. I tried all kind of variety of ways to figure out what this clock means. I tried production numbers, I tried color numbers, I tried track times, quarter mile times, like nothing I can find points to 1012 or 1013. So I think this means something. I think this means they're basically gonna detune this car just like they did with the red eye. They could have easily put 2:45 p.m. on the clock. We've seen this before, and I think this basically gonna point to that the new red eye is basically gonna be detuned from the Demon 170 so it won't step on its toes. Remember, they made the red eye 807 horsepower, and they made it just 1 horsepower shy of the 2018 Dodge Demon. That way they can make the 2018 Demon the king. So if 1012 is real and the new Cuda badge is real, are we looking at a 1012 horsepower Cuda trim to replace the red eye? Someone told me that Dodge was considering bringing the Cuda back as a trim to the Charger. The same source who told me about that right there was also the same person that told me that, hey, the tungsten is coming out, and I released that before, I think 6-7 months before it actually came out. So I'm sure I've talked about that in a previous video, like I said. And then I remember right here this sign to me of a Cuda Easter egg with this single round headlight in this old IG post that Dodge has on their Instagram page. So one thing I hate about this new Charger is the plain Jane, ugly, square-like headlights when we just came from an era of great looking headlights on the Charger and Challenger. So maybe we will see a new round headlight design like with the old Challengers, or maybe the older Cudas from like the 70s, which we can't tell what kind of headlights this car has under the covers. But let me know down in the comment section below, do you think the new headlights on the Charger Daytona are way ugly compared to the old Charger and Challenger cars that we just got done with? So it seems like to me, in this particular configurator, we are getting teases that a Cuda will happen and it'll have 1,012 horsepower. Now, a couple options to get that kind of horsepower is maybe to bring back the D170's engine with E85, probably, I guess, detune it down so it won't piss off D170 owners like me, which is why I said earlier, I think they'll basically do like a red hot treatment and detune the car down. I think that would be a pretty cool, smart idea for Dodge. I would say that another option for Dodge is basically probably put like the 426 health on the inside of that car. I hope that they don't do this, because I would think that Dodge kind of screwed the opportunity to make like a collection of demons, especially VIN matched, where you have a 2018 Demon with 840 horsepower, then you have like a 2023 Demon 170 with 1,025 horsepower, and then you have like a 2028 maybe Demon 426 with 1,100 horsepower and E85. I think Dodge kind of established that every 5 years they come out with a new demon powered vehicle and has the highest horsepower in the entire range. So I'm hoping that Dodge does this, don't put a 426 in the car, and save 1,100 horsepower for a Demon 426, which would be a great successor to the Demon 170. Just saying. But wait, we're not done yet. In the far corner of the same shop, if you look closely, there's a Dodge Viper on the lift. And just to his side is another silhouette of what looks like to be another vehicle that is covered and partially hidden in the shadow. Now, my question is Dodge teasing two secret projects in one scene? Now, I've said this for years that it would make perfect sense for Dodge to rebadge a Maserati MC20 as a Dodge Viper, but only if it is done right. Now, I have this video right here that you can check out. I want everything that I noticed about the Viper and all the clues on the walls that no one's really kind of picked up on. The other vehicle, we cannot tell anything about it, but I guess that this might be the same vehicle that Tim Kuniskis teased on EV Day back in like 2021. Now, word around the campfire is that car was supposed to move forward sometime last year, but I assume, based off just my guesses here, and this is strictly a guess, I assume Tavares screwed up something. Basically, Tavares got fired, Tim Kuniskis comes back, Matt McClear now all of a sudden talking about all these new vehicles that Dodge wants to bring back and release, and now here we are with 3 new cars being teased. A Cuda, which looks nothing like the car under the cover, a Viper, which I break down in another video and several clues about that, and then we have this car right here under this cover, and this car right here that Tim Kuniskis showed, and we've seen nothing about it over the last, what, 4 or 5 years. So I'm just saying that maybe that car is finally this one that Tim Kuniskis showed. So I don't think Dodge is doing very subtle hints. I mean, these aren't just accidents that they're showing here. I think these are digital breadcrumbs. They have hidden messages for Demons, Hellcats, TRXs, and all these little nuggets here are clues for future product. So here's what I think. I think that Dodge knows that the Charger Daytona EV is not catching on, and they know the Brotherhood of Muscle is not buying into a silent car with a sound bar for an exhaust system. So now they're laying the groundwork for a comeback, one that rebrands performance in a new way. Not by repeating the past, but by building a new lineup that starts with names like the Cuda and performance figures that exceed 1,000 horsepower. That way they can one-up their red-eye Hellcat vehicles. They knew if they came out with another Demon in 2023, they had to beat the 2018's Demon performance numbers. And then they gave everyone else that who's not blessed to own a Demon in 2019 the ability to have their cars possessed by the Demon with slightly lower power soon afterwards. 1,000 horsepower for a next generation red eye ain't nothing to sneeze at. And what if this time it is not a red eye? What if it is called a Cuda? Just saying. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Dodge is teasing a 1,012 horsepower Cuda trim? Do you think they're finally going to revive the Cuda name for real this time? And could this be Dodge's way of saying goodbye to the Hellcat era and on to a new era of something bigger, something more powerful, and something more sinister? Or does something smell fishy here? Pun intended. Let me know in the comments down below. Smash the subscribe button, and if you want to find out why Dodge should come back with a new Challenger, you can check out this video right here. And until the next time, I'm out.